For those of you who might not know her, she's a chef, author, advocate, and the founder and owner of the restaurant Chez Panisse in Berkeley, California. She's also the recipient of the 2024 Julia Child Award. Please give her a round of applause. So you're my only panelist who's brought a prop, and we'll get to that in a minute, but I'm excited to talk about it. But I want you to start with your story, Alice, because for you it all started with the restaurant and your connection to taste and flavor and really farmers.
Well, it really started in the free speech movement in Berkeley, California, because
Yeah, I'll move it a little bit out. Ricardo's coming to help.
He's coming.
He's our savior right now. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. Thank you, Ricardo. I'm so sorry. All right, we're good. Thank you. Free speech movement in California.
Yes, but Mario Savio was leading that movement, and all of these people were in Sparrow Plaza, and I had never sort of experienced the power of people who really felt passionate about an idea. And Mario Savio was very intent about education. And he thought no one should decide on a major right in your freshman year, that you needed to learn about what you loved to do, wanted to study. And during the free speech movement, we weren't allowed to, he said, don't go to classes that have professors that aren't part of this movement. So I took Beethoven's symphonies and astronomy and a lot of other odd subjects. But he said the best thing is to take a year off and go to another country and learn about their culture. And so I took off my junior year and went to France. The rest is history.
Literally.
But I have to say that it was a true slow food nation. They didn't have even olive oil in Paris. That was the south of France. I know a lot of people have heard me talk about this before, but it was profound because everything I ate tasted delicious. And I had wild strawberries. And they said, one day they disappeared. I said, what happened to them? They said, it's over. You have to go up in the woods to pick them. And they only grow for this month in the fall. And we wait till next year to have them. But that's the way I ate in Paris. And there were little fixed price menus that were very inexpensive at that time. And I always ordered them because they were choosing things for me that I'd never tasted. And they all tasted good. And I went back there. But when I came home, I really wanted to live like the French. I didn't just want to eat like the French. I wanted to, walk around town. I wanted to see farmers markets at every corner. I wanted to sit by the Seine. I wanted to go to museums for free and concerts. I wanted to live like that. And thank God we were in proximity to the University of California. And so I made it a point to invite people who were coming to speak there to come to Chez Panisse. And we had amazing people from around the world. Yo-Yo Ma, the Dalai Lama. But that was fascinating, too, when he came. He was speaking at the university, and I wanted to know what he wanted to eat. And we wanted to make exactly what he wanted to eat. And so I thought it was beet time. It was in the February, and maybe we'd have golden and red beets. And I had thought, is he a vegetarian? What would he like to eat?
Right.
Well, I found out that he liked lamb. And so we made him a lamb stew, but he didn't eat vegetables that were grown under the ground. And I made that big mistake. But he was so forthcoming, and we had a number of people that were such part of his whole movement at the restaurant. And they were so thrilled that he came. They wanted to touch every table he touched, take his chair, take his glass. I'm getting far away from what I'm...
I think it really relates to what we've heard all day, which is the power of people.
And the power of food, delicious food. Who would have thought that only one menu, and mind you, it was cheap, $3.50 for 4 courses. But nonetheless, I didn't understand about taste until I met Bob Kennard, who was an organic regenerative farmer. And he was very outspoken, and he said his vegetables were 25% more nutritious than anybody else's. And I laughed, and they were. And he said, I want to pick up all your food compost at the restaurant, and you can take the vegetables back. And I said, I'll pay you the real cost of those vegetables. There was no middleman taking the money. It was just directly from Bob. Well, the word got out in California that we were doing this, and hundreds of people wanted to sell to us. We got Moto's peaches in the fall, and we had certain Bronx grapes from this person and that person. And people would say, I want, when do I come for Moss's peaches? I said, maybe 1 month, maybe 2 months in the fall. And so that made me, believe in the power of taste. It made me understand a food system when you're buying locally, all locally produced food. And it inspired people to go into the farming and the ranching and the fishing business. I loved it that we had somebody who went and picked their mussels right up from Mendocino and brought them into the restaurant that day. And when we served them, everybody was just breathless about the way they tasted. And I know we were breaking the rules, but I believe in breaking the rules when they're wrong.
Right on.
And rules about food safety, so many are wrong. They are not making the right rules about the food that is good for us. And everybody who spoke today talked around that, but didn't say that the health of the soil is what gives our food the nutrition that we need. And there's so many wonderful people who have written about that. And so my plan is, and because I started the Edible Schoolyard project 30 years ago.
Round of applause for that, everyone.
And I started it in one middle school because the principal called me and he said, I hear you like gardens and maybe you could come and beautify my school you made a bad comment about it in the paper, that we were neglecting our public school system. And it had a barbed wire fence around it, a chain link fence. And it was a very big school, 800 to 1,000 students, middle school students. And it had been built on 21 acres of land way back in the teens. And so there was a huge lot, a vacant lot that was just full of junk. And I went and I talked to him. And Montessori teacher that I am, I know that our senses are the pathways into our minds. And I'm sure you all know about her work in the 1880s, first woman doctor in Italy. And she wanted to know why children who lived in poverty and hunger didn't learn like other students. And so she discovered that all of our senses, smell and taste and touch and how you look at things and hearing are what are going right into our brains. And she felt like these children were sensorially deprived. Well, I'm afraid I think we live in a sensorially deprived world. We're on our computer instead of looking at the redwood trees. And being outside is engaging our senses. And food uses all of them. The beauty of the produce of everything, the herbs, it's just unimaginable that we get to have that food. And so I want a system where the farmer is first, the rancher, the farmer. And just the way we bought food from the restaurant, we could do that in the schools. By the way, Neil Smith, the principal of the school, I said, Neil, I see a garden classroom over on that lot. Yeah. I see a kitchen classroom and that portable building over there. And out in the middle of the asphalt, I see a whole cafeteria that could serve all of the 800 kids in the school in 2 seatings. And not to waste time, we could make school lunch an academic subject. You could be sitting at the table, all the students together, and you're discovering geography, and it's a placemat that you have, and I have some of them here if you want to see, about the Middle East. And you could be eating pita bread and hummus and greens. Who knew that kids would like that?
It's amazing.
Who knew? I mean, it's amazing. So we started that project. It wasn't to teach cooking or farming. It was to teach all the academics subjects in an interactive classroom. And I'll tell you, it has worked like a charm. Because these are human values. You have to hold up that side. It's in 60 to 100 schools around.
That's so beautiful, Alice.
Show the other side here. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing.
Show that side because it's more impressive when you see it.
It's pretty cool, Alice. It's pretty cool.
A good idea is what we all need right now. And I just want to say that Terra Madre, Carlo Petrini's slow food movement, is meeting in Torino right at this time. And he wants to have a Terra Madre big event in California next year. They want to have a real global gathering in California. But I am doing an event that you're all invited to. It's called Climate Food Hope. I wanted something really hopeful before the election. And I have been working with the institute I have formed to talk about school-supported agriculture. What if we use the money of the school system already exists and give it to the farmers, the ranchers, the fishers who live locally? No imported food to everybody who produces it. It brings the community together. It really is like the Edible Schoolyard Project. Parents come and they help with the gardening all the time. It became a center. Every year we do a teaching, just one teaching. But we know that it works in every climate. And people have been invited to this event from all around the country, people like Michael Pollan and Eric Schlosser. But I wanted the president of the University of California to come because I felt like if UC system made this a reality, that it would go across the country and around the world. So he signed the letter that I have on the back. And maybe I should just read this at the end.
Of course.
Or
Do you want me to read it?
Yes.
So it says, we are pleased to invite you to an important gathering where we will present the idea of school-supported agriculture as a powerful and universal climate solution. Our ambitious goal is to build a global food movement where all public schools and universities buy their food directly from local, regenerative, organic farmers, ranchers, and food purveyors. We believe this dramatic shift in procurement is an effective and immediate way to mitigate climate change, address children's health, educate our next generation, and bring our communities together. Bravo, Alice. It's amazing. It's happening. What is the day? What is the day? October 19th, 2024. October 19th, everyone.
Very soon.
So exciting.
We will have something on a website for the Institute. And I wanted it to be on the mall and have hundreds of farmers and teachers sitting at the table as our most valuable citizens. We should be encouraging people who love children to teach them. And I think ever since ketchup became a vegetable in the schools,
oh gosh,
that we have gone downhill. But we certainly know what we're serving our children is not good for them. Absolutely, we know. And we know all of the pioneers around the country and around the world who know that when students are engaged in making their own food, that they all eat it.
It's so powerful.
All eat it.
So powerful.
And you're all invited to come to the Edible Schoolyard.
They're all going to show up, Alice. Are you ready?
But there are a number of Edible Schoolyards in New York City. We wanted to have proof of concept. There's a beautiful one in Brooklyn. They're all around. There's one up in Harlem. But we made one in New Orleans. We did one in upstate New York, just to make sure that in a big city or a cold climate or a hot place or a different culture, that it would work. And it does. And we're not taking away from the academic curriculum.
It's so
very
powerful.
important that we're teaching to the standards.
Alice, thank you for putting students at the center of this, or the children of this country and around the world, because this is a message that can spread. And thank you for putting farmers, ranchers, fishers, food producers at the center of all this. We are sadly out of time. I know we could talk forever, but thank you for all of this work that you have done. You are my heroine in a million different ways, and you are so many people's heroine because you have brought this message forward of seasonality, of taste, of culture, of investing in children, investing in farmers and food producers. It's so It's delicious and it's powerful.
Well, thank you, my dear. But it's never work for me. I never think of it. And I believe that one of the most unfortunate thing that's happened in this country is that people are doing work that is not meaningful. And there's nothing more meaningful, really, than planting a seed and seeing it grow. And also, really, the being out in nature, being with children who just want to learn. You know, it's so gratifying.
It is so gratifying. Thank you, Alice Waters.
Thank you,
Round of
guys.
applause. Thank you. Thank you.